it's such an epic time to be alive. We obviously we had COVID, which amplified, it's actually such a great thing. People looking back to it, that was a horrible time. For me, it was the best time in my life because I started to dive deeper. My little girl, 5 years young, said, "Daddy, please don't leave me. Daddy, please don't leave me." So I could
Mm.
not do it. I came back in. I dropped on my knee and I promised her straight into the eyes, I will never leave. I love a challenge, but breath work, what's up with that, man? I've been breathing my entire life. That's just bullshit, man. I'm good. I know how to breathe, believe me. And he said, no, Fabian, this is something else. I do maximum 25 people, but I've also attended workshops where there were 100 people together in one room to do breath work, to do the same technique, but everybody had a complete different outcome. How breath work changed their life. Like literally, I was laughing because I could not believe that. It's like breathing. It's so simple, but if you think about it, it's the first thing that we do when we arrive on this planet, and it's the last thing we're going to do.
Welcome to episode 62 of Super States, Practices of Transformation with me, your host, Joshua Peters. Super States explores the intersection of trance states with personal or professional growth. In each episode, we talk to world-class experts, industry leaders, and revolutionary thinkers who share the latest information, tools, along with their personal stories to inspire you on your journey. Make sure to subscribe to the podcast through your favorite podcast host or on YouTube so you stay up to date with new episodes. And if you enjoy the show, give me a 5-star review to help us grow. Today, I sit down with Fabian Wesselink, a hypnotherapist, NLP coach, and a transformational breathwork instructor. Fabian shares his journey and the powerful impact of combining breathwork with hypnosis for a deep, lasting change. What happens when you combine breathwork and hypnosis for maximum healing? You're about to find inner peace through Hypno-Breathwork with Fabian Wesselink. Welcome to Super States. I'm here today with Fabian Wesselink. Fabian, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Joshua.
Fabian, I like to start off the show here kind of with a simple question that might be more complicated than simple. We'll find out. Describe to us what you do and how that impacts people's lives, how that helps them make changes.
Yeah, cool. Thank you so much. So what I do, I am a hypnotherapist and an NLP coach, and I'm also a transformational breathwork instructor. And I fused all these things together in which what I call hypno breathwork. So I facilitate workshops in Sydney, where I live in Australia, in yoga studios, fitness studios, corporate sessions, team building events, where I use this modality, this powerful modality. I also use these one on one worldwide, and I train hypnotherapists and NLP coaches or coaches to learn this powerful modality.
Hypno breath work. So give me I've done lots of different types of breath work. Can you give me an example or describe how hypno breath work works?
Yes, so breathwork on its own is like it's like an umbrella term, right? It's way more than just simple doing some techniques, and most people just know a few techniques, but hypno breathwork goes beyond. So hypno breathwork is about taking our clients on a journey. It's estimated that 90%, 90% of all people are dysfunctional breathers. So we learn, in our course how to take someone out of fight and flight by improving someone's breath, by using strategies and by using the breath to get people out of the sympathetic nervous system. That's one thing, but also learning how to run workshops, facilitate group sessions where we do breakthrough breathwork to release trauma and stuff by combining hypnotherapy during breathwork. And that's really unique. There's not many people that are doing it. Actually, I don't know of any. There's one lady in America. I don't know. She also does something similar, but I looked into it and it's different in the way that we use it in
Mm.
that form.
Yeah, I've never heard of this either. So it's just really a fascinating way to incorporate these kinds of these different modalities. How did you get to this point? So I imagine, like most healers, we kind of have a journey that gets us to where we are. So why don't you share with us your journey, how you got here?
Yeah, that's also so a thing that it's not something like when we were little kids where we would say, where a teacher would ask us, "Hey, Fabian, what would you like to do?" Or "Hey, Joshua, what would you like to do?" "Oh, you know what? When I grow up, I want to be a hypnotherapist and an NLP coach and a breathwork instructor." Right? So that with me, it started with pain, and I think pain is a great catalyst for change. And it's my story started with pain and rock bottom and confusion because I lost. I call her the soulmate of the old version of me. A breakup of a relationship of 19 years together, and when that happens, yeah, your whole world collapses. And I was just desperately looking for who I was. And so what happened was that I met my ex partner in Sydney on the other side of the world. It was really funny. We are both from a very small country town in the Netherlands, where a town where everybody knows each other. And then I travel alone to Sydney, and I see her there. I recognize her, and she recognizes me, and she says, "Hey, you are from Nijverdal, right?" "Yeah, yeah, yeah, me too." "Oh." And we're starting to connect. And it was even crazier. Before I met her in Sydney, I started working with an ice cream factory close to my city to get some extra money, to get some extra cash before I went to Australia. And one day I looked at the notice board during lunch, and I saw a woman standing on a Ford Falcon, an old car in Australia, in Western Australia. And she said, "Hey, colleagues, it's so awesome to be here, blah, blah, blah." And I looked at the card and said, "Wow, that's coincidence. I will be there in a few weeks." Little did I know that I would bump into this woman and we would start a journey of almost 2 decades together. So when we met, everything was beautiful. Our love was amazing. We would be like a role model. People literally said, "You guys are the role model for what I would love to find in a loving relationship." And it was like that at the beginning. So at some point we had to go back to the Netherlands because her grandfather died, and then you start your life. We bought houses together, renovated places, and it was great at the beginning. Full on love story. But around the when my daughter was born, the first cracks started to appear in the relationship, and there was more frustration, no communication anymore. The passion started to dissipate, and at some point we were more like brother and sister living together, and I could not deal with that. I My escape was marijuana and alcohol, and that's what I would do,
Mm,
to escape the pain. I could never sit with that. No, I did not have any tools back then. So around when my daughter was 4 years young, I asked her, "Hey, is the dream still alive, or what? Do you still want to go to Australia?" Because that was our dream, to go back one day and return. And she said, "Well, the marriage is more or less over. Do you think it's a great idea?" And I said something like, "Well, at least there's beaches and beautiful weather. Why not? If it's there or here." And deep down inside, I thought, you know what? I will make this work. I will make this happen. So
mm,
we got here, and obviously it did not work. You have to be really stable to do such a big move. We packed everything up. We said goodbye to all our friends, all our family, and the three of us traveled to Australia. And it became quite apparent that after a few weeks there that it was not going to be successful between us. And so one day, at an episode of fighting and misery, I decided, this is not working. We need to let each other go. And I was on my way on the door out, and my little girl, 5 years young, said, "Daddy, please don't leave me. Daddy, please don't leave me." So I could
mm,
not do it. I came back in. I dropped on my knee, and I promised her straight into the eyes, "I will never leave you. I will never leave you." But hey, you already feel it coming. 1 week later, again, an episode of fighting and misery. And I walked out of the door, and my daughter said, Dad, you promised, you promised." And yeah, that day I died. I broke, like, completely. And I felt
yeah.
fear. Maybe I will never see my daughter again. I felt deep pain also to my ex-partner. Felt that I let her down, and also my parents. I felt shame. My parents always said, what, you find one a person, you find one person and you will make it work. You don't get divorced. And so, yeah, rock bottom. So what would I do? What was my familiar known, as Joe Dispenza called it, just more drinking, more drugs, looking outside myself for solutions. And at one point I had to take care of my daughter. My ex-partner was working, and I went out the night before, way, massively hungover, and my daughter was baking cupcakes for me. So she pulled out all the kitchen cabinets and, made a massive stain on the carpet. So I flipped. I started screaming, and she looked at me super frightened, and she started crying. I started crying. Joshua, I was a mess, a total mess. And there and then, I made a decision like, this has to stop. I need to change. And then they say, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. So I got some help from a friend from the Netherlands, and he became my mentor. He started talking sense in me, and we started to talk about all this woo-hoo stuff, and like spirits and life after life and all that crazy stuff, which I love, right? And then one day I saw a guy running stage hypnosis, and like he had like a study, and I saw that. I was intrigued. I'd never thought about hypnosis, but I thought more like fun. So I did not end up doing his course, but I signed up with someone here in Sydney to learn hypnotherapy. So I did that. I loved it. I did NLP, my breakthrough, the ones where you start at 10 a.m. in the morning till 10 p.m. And I was ready. I was ready. I fixed myself. I'm here to heal the world. But no one ever taught me to do marketing. So, where do I find clients? Hey,
Yeah.
the world needs me, but where do I find them? So, I had some great results with people. Also, some people was not working, but the biggest thing, no clients. So I tried all things: marketing, Facebook ads, Google ads, marketing people, websites. I even hired a person to converse my quit smoking sessions, and she said, Fabian, I don't know. With other hypnotherapists, it works. Maybe there's something in your energy, but it seems to not work. I was like, whoa, that's shit, right? And so what do I do now? Do I stay in my day job, which I hated, or what's next? And but now I know, there's no such thing as rejection, only redirection. So my friend that I did the NLP course with, he says, Fabian, we do ice baths and breath work every Sunday here at a beach close to where I was living, and I think that you should come. I said, mate, ice baths, yeah, man, I love a challenge, but breath work, what's up with that, man? I've been breathing my entire life. That's just bullshit, man. I'm good. I know how to breathe, believe me. And he said, no, Fabian, this is something else. So I went, and there was this beautiful lady, and she was in front of the group, and she said that she struggled with anorexia and food disorders, and how breathwork changed her life. And I was like, I was laughing. I said, how is that possible? But anyways, I went into the breathwork, and for the first time, my mind became quiet, Joshua, completely
Mm.
quiet. I felt energy in my body that I never experienced before. And I was like, wow, I need to learn more of this. So I got home, you know how it goes, looking for courses. And what is this? I was intrigued. I found someone, I did a one-on-one, and oh my
Mhm.
God, electricity run through my body. I was shaking, I was screaming, I was crying, just just in one session. And I came out and said, this is it. I need to learn this. So I found a trainer in Australia and did my course, and no one was using hypnotherapy. No one was talking about hypnotherapy. And I got my qualification. I'm a person, I get in straight into it. I start. So I bought ice buckets, did the same thing as the lady, started with my breath work, but naturally was using hypnosis. I was using inductions before I would get into the breath work. I was using parts therapy or regression therapy during the breath work. Very natural. And people, you know what, in Sydney we have a lot of people that actually do ice baths and breath work, and people would come 2.5 hours, sometimes drive to get to my ice bath. I started with 2 people or 3 people, first it came out. At some point, one of the last times I was there, 100 people joined my breath work, and
Wow.
and people would say, I would say, why would you come 2.5 hours to see me? You can literally do it next day. I said, no, your breath work is different. There's something about it. It's deeper. And then people would ask me, Fabian, I want to be an instructor. Where do I go? I said, oh, go to the guy who taught me. And then they would come back and they said, Fabian, he's really good, but I would like to learn how you do breath work because there's
Mm.
something with your breath work that I really like. It takes me deeper, And then I thought, oh man, I'm onto something. So now I run these sessions. I completely sober. I gave up all alcohol, all drugs, and I'm high on life. I've learned how to breathe. I've learned how to get myself out of fight and flight. And now it's my mission to bring this to the world. And the fastest way is through hypnotherapists and coaches.
Wow. So now you're training other hypnotherapists and other coaches on how to use this modality.
Absolutely, absolutely, and it's a great way, especially to get into groups. As a hypnotherapist, I've noticed that. So it became draining to do one-on-ones only. You think, man, we have so much power. Why should we not facilitate that in groups? But I also felt that there's still a dogma, a stigma around hypnosis because people don't know what it is, or they know it from the media. They think it's mind control. So I did not really talk about it. I tried workshops for hypnosis, but people were not interested. Then I got into breathwork, and people would sign up. When I host more sessions in Sydney, I've got one coming up this Saturday. It's sold out before I get to the end date, where people come in,
Mm.
and I do maximum 25 people. But I've also attended workshops where there were 100 people together
Mm.
in one room to do breath work, to do the same technique, but everybody had a complete different outcome. So to combine these two, and it is so powerful, so powerful. So what I would call it is like hypnotherapy on steroids, which you can achieve in one
Mhm.
session equals maybe 5 or 6 hypnotherapy sessions.
And so I'm really curious how you're incorporating some of the like the healing kind of modalities, like you talked about the regressive work or things like that, into the breath work in a group setting. Like I could see this pretty easily in a one-to-one. When you're doing it in a group way, what's the process that you use to make that happen?
The process is pretty much the same thing. It all starts, or most important aspect is probably the rapport that you have with the client. And in groups, there's a different dynamic, and also to run and facilitate a workshop. And I was really lucky with my trainer. He was a master in having people to work together and to create a safe container for people to be sharing and be vulnerable. So it starts with me creating rapport with those people, and it's always my origin story. That's so important, right? Like I just did,
Hmm.
to be vulnerable and to share your story, and people can relate to that, and then do exercises with them that sort of said to break the ice. And sometimes I use ice bath, so that's a bit funny. But to break the ice at the beginning of the at the beginning of the workshop, but and then obviously the pre-talk. Hey, why is this so important to do this? And really, really let them know what they can expect, because I've noticed that there's so many people doing breath work, but they go to these healing sessions and no one, they don't really expect them or tell them what they can expect. So they're lying there, and all of a sudden there's screaming and crying people next to them and shaking and lots of things going on without proper care, and that is very different. But that's really important. It has to be safe first of all, and then I would ask them to choose an intention. What is it? What is it that you are here for today? What is something that is stopping you or blocking you from within? What is stopping you from being your best self? And I utilize that. And I don't have the time a day to ask 25 people, or let's say if there's 50 people, hey, what is your problem? Hey, what is your problem? Hey, what are you suffering with? You know, but I can use that once they chose that intention. I can use that and facilitate that during the session. I would say, okay,
Hmm.
at some point, hey, okay, now ask your unconscious mind to bring you back to when you started and create this story, this memory. Ask your unconscious mind to show you the truth, not the story that you keep telling yourself. Why was it happening for you? What did your unconscious mind try to gain from this, or things like that?
Hmm.
And when it comes to regression, it's like, okay, ask your unconscious mind to bring you back to that first memory, or that first emotion safely, watching yourself from a distance. What's going on here? What are the positive learnings? That kind of stuff. I think you get what I'm trying to say here, right?
Yeah, yeah, no, that's all pretty. I mean, if you know hypnosis, then you know exactly what you're talking about. And
Exactly. Exactly.
I've done a fair amount of breath work of different types, and both from some one-on-one and some small groups and some larger groups. I and when I was in the larger group one, and not leading them but just participating, when I was in the larger group, it was interesting because, 'cause then I'm leading to something that you talked about. The space was not held very well, and like you said, they didn't really describe anything. They just kind of like jumped you right in. It was fine for me. I had lots of experience. I know exactly what to expect.
Yes.
And yet there was a part of me that was kind of worried about the other people, that w- it didn't feel like the space was being held well by the facilitators. And so I appreciate how you were talking about how important that is, because that is a piece that I feel and have had experience in it being missing.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And then what do you end up with? Then you come home, and you come there to, let's say you want to go there to release something, but what do you take home? If, let's say, if you are traumatic and you are there to get rid, to lose something, or to, you're curious about what breath work is, right? It's, people call it a trend. That's not the truth. It's one of the oldest modalities on the planet. It's hot, in the health and wellness industry, which is a
Hmm.
1.4 trillion dollar business. Breathwork, for the fourth year in a row, is chosen as number one modality. So everyone wants to actually do it.
Hmm.
But what do you end up if you get into a place where someone does not explain to you what is going to happen, where they not create the room or a safe container for people to heal? And you get there, and, like, luckily in your case, you've done a lot of, most of us done a lot of work on ourselves as hypnotists and hypnotherapists, and we understand more about, the body holds the score, if you think about a book and how trauma works and change works. But if you are there, you are new to that, they people are in a very fragile
Yeah.
situation. So safety and literally explaining what they can expect, and that's the key. That's the main essence of my course, to run confidently and safely and get people on a journey where they can let go, and then afterwards, where people should be happy and sharing whatever happened. And, oh, it's amazing. It's amazing, but
I,
so important. Safety
yeah.
first, always.
Yeah. Safety first. I appreciate that. Well, as you're kind of bringing people in, what do you think is what are people not getting about breath work that could make a difference for them?
Well, if you think
What's
about
a
it,
misunderstanding that people come into this
yeah.
with?
So
Like, say somebody
pro-
who's
prob
brand new to it.
yeah, so probably like me, I'm a very skeptical person, and it sounds funny because I'm a hypnotherapist, and, if you say I'm skeptical in hypnotherapy, that's it's a bit of a extremes, right? But, when I got into it, first thing I say, someone steps in front of a group, and she says that she suffers from anorexia when she was a teenager, and that how breathwork changed her life. Like, literally, I was laughing because I could not believe that. It's like, breathing, it's so simple, but if you think about it, we take around 24,000 breaths per day, and it's the first thing that we do when we arrive on this planet, and it's the last thing we're going to do. So
Hmm.
breathwork is also, it is the bridge between science and spirituality, because it's actually the same thing. And there's so much to it, so much to it when you dive into it. So most people, what I've thought about breathwork is just, oh, just a few techniques or so. But no, it's literally, it literally changed my life as well, because it also, got me started, and finding my purpose through breathwork. But first of all, I was not even ready back then to literally start helping. I thought I was ready. I thought I was healed, but there was so much more work to do. My mind, I was so in my mind the whole time. My mind was always racing, and people that knew me, that always say, "Fabian, you have so much potential. Like Fabian, he has a lot of potential. He will make it in this world. Coaching is hard and it's difficult or challenging, and he will make it. But he's all over the place. He's jumped from one thing in another, and that was the
Hmm.
truth. Always, oh, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to do this. And now through the breath, you can anchor yourself in the present moment. You become so calm, and you can heal yourself, and you can change your state, and you can alter your consciousness. You can expand your consciousness. When you are tired, you don't have to accept that. It's just a state where you're in. And I can do a quick breathing exercise and get me energetic, and and oh my god, it's like him, when you it's like hypnosis, Joshua. When you get into hypnosis, at least from, if I'm talking for myself, I became obsessed. I want to learn everything about this modality. It's not like doing a trick or so. No, it's way beyond. And this is with breathwork. It's the same thing, and I love it. All these ancient wisdom, our ancestors were using all these tools, and they did not have chemistry, or would not go to get chemicals, to heal themselves or so. They were having this wisdom, and now the world is ready to go back to that. But because people finding out that the old way of treating symptoms is not sustainable anymore. And this is why things like, I predict that hypnosis will take off as well. It's a little bit too early, maybe now, but in the future, I will see that hypnosis will blow up, just as breathwork is doing that now. And
Mm.
yeah, so it's exciting times for us
Yeah, for
and for
sure.
for humanity.
I totally agree. When you're describing this, I'm hearing lots of different ways that you use breath to help change people's states, right? And really, we're talking about super states, whether that's hypnosis or breath work or all the other ways. What what is a practical way that someone could use breath work to make a change in their life?
Yeah, so change it. Well, if you look at breath work, and there's so many great pioneers that were working on breath work. For instance, Dan Brûlé's. I really like Dan Brûl's his explanation, or what he calls what is breathwork, because breathwork is an umbrella term, and he says it's based on two components: breath awareness and conscious breathing, in essence, and that's breathwork. I truly relate to that. So breathing is an unconscious act. But for us to change our life, we firstly, or what is an important factor, is to become aware. So become aware of how we breathe. Like blink, you don't know when you blink your eyes, right? It's our unconscious mind already. Or if you believe there is an unconscious mind or not, I don't want to go into that discussion. But let's say that there is an unconscious mind, or something that is bigger or operates from a different kind of system. So it already does that for us. And the same thing with breathing. So become aware of your breath. Am I a mouth breather, which is detrimental for your health, which is the fastest way to get into fight and flight mode? Am I a nose breather? Am I a fast breather? Am I a slow breather? Am I a chest breather? Am I a stomach breather? Do I breathe in my diaphragm? All these things. Become aware of your breath, right? And with breath awareness, it's the fastest way to anchor yourself into the present moment. Because the
Mm.
problem is that most people, they either live in the past, still revisiting the old stories, which often are not true, as you know,
Mhm.
as a hypnotherapist and a change worker, or they live constantly in the future. Once I have that house, once I have that success, once I'm a successful coach, then I will be happy. No, no. The only happiness is to find within the present moment. And the breath is the fastest way to get there. Because would you agree it's impossible to breathe in the past, Joshua?
Yes.
It's also impossible to breathe in the future, is it not?
You can only breathe in the right now.
Exactly right. And when you are in the right now, you are where you want to be. It sounds a bit like Eckhart Tolle now, but he's completely right when you say that. And breath awareness, that's that's the way to get there. So just during the day, but what I say when I was working with clients, put your alarm, set your alarm 3 times a day, and start doing one of the most amazing breathwork techniques, which is cardial coherence breathing. And it goes like this: when you close your mouth and you breathe in for 5 seconds in through your nose, or 5.5 seconds actually, but 5 seconds to make it easier, in through your nose. So in, exhale. In for five, out. In for five. If you do that for 5 minutes, research have shown that our cortisol levels will drop with 25% when we do that. Research. So no woo-hoo, no me sucking it out of the thumb. So if you would do that 3 times per day, just 3 times per day, become aware of your breath, starting to nose breathe like that,
Hmm.
and starting to decrease, that will change your life. It becomes so much more calmer. And then that's the breath awareness part. And then obviously we have conscious breathing, where you can start a breathwork practice for yourself to do activation breath work, to shift your mind. You need to be calm, or to have that wow factor, or do the relaxation breathing, the cardio coherence breathing, or box breathing, or triangle breathing. And what we do in hypno breathwork, we do recordings. Some hypnotherapists love recordings. Other people say it's just bullshit. It's the placebo. It doesn't matter. It's the same thing. If it's a placebo, it's great. But
Yeah.
if you start doing hypno recordings with simultaneously with breath work, how amazing is that? So you're working on the body level and you're reprogramming your mind at the
Mm.
same time. So these kind of things, and it's all free. God already gave this gift to you, so it doesn't cost you a cent. How
Yeah.
cool is that?
That's awesome. Is there anything that people need to be aware of before they jump into breath work? Any uh, risks or anything like that?
Yeah, the risk to get hooked, to get addicted to it. It's probably the same thing with hypnosis, right? Find the right people, find the right tribe, and find people that actually know what they're talking about. So if you want to do a workshop, and you want to learn breath work, make sure that you read up to the person. What is he actually doing? And the thing is, with hypno breathwork, why is hypno breathwork so different than other? Because there's many breathwork courses or facilitation. Is we have the gift that most of us, we actually understand, and we have more knowledge around change work and healing and trauma, or at least I don't know, but this is just me guessing out loud. But if you had a good course, you're also trauma informed, and we do training and more
Hmm.
training, right? Hypnotherapists, we get addicted to training. We can wallpaper our whole wall full with certifications and qualifications that most of
Yep.
us do, right? So but that's really good, because we have aftercare. So if you go to a workshop of mine and you do healing with me, I also offer programs where I can help them. I can really and truly help them. So if there's things that come up and you feel that you need more work, then hey, I'm here. I have hypnotherapy programs where I can heal you, and that's the biggest way. But in generally, it is very safe. But also, when you struggle from high blood pressure or schizophrenia or all that, then obviously ask your doctor before you get into activation kind of breath work, right? But the cardial coherence breathing, the 5 seconds in through the nose or so, that relaxation breath work is safe for everyone. You don't need to
Yeah.
worry about that.
Great. So we talked a lot about different types of altered states here, from breath work to hypnosis to cold plunges, like all these different ways of altering your state. What is
Yes.
giving you what's getting you excited about the future of these different states of consciousness and mixing it with personal growth?
Oh man, where do we start? It's such an epic time to be alive. You know, we obviously we had COVID, you know, which amplified, it's actually such a great thing. People looking back to it, that was a horrible time. For me, it was the best time in my life because I started to dive deeper, and I really took that time, you know, to get those things. Because if you are in a room and you can't do anything, well, you have your breath, so you can, you know, you will have your hypnosis, you can play with that. And what I expect for the time now to come is, I feel that the conscious the collective conscious is changing, and we're becoming more aware, and we're looking for other ways. And like I said before, we're finding out together now that the old ways of treating symptoms, that's not sustainable for us anymore. So we are looking for these ways. We're looking into ice baths or cold plunges are a hot topic. It's a bit weird, right? If you talk about ice baths and you talk about hot, but it's a hot topic. People want to do that to change these states, and people are exercising or experiencing, or how do you say, they're working more with psychedelics to change those states, and hypnosis. And the good thing is, we don't need any drugs, we don't need caffeine, we don't need alcohol, we don't need cocaine. We can access all these states by using breath work or hypnosis. And yeah, it's such an epic. I'm super excited for this, like what to come, and to, you know, to keep working on myself. And look, the only responsibility that I have as a coach is to be the best version of myself, so that I
Mhm.
can amplify that for those around me. And I will be running these workshops and train these people to the last day. Like, I could not see myself doing anything else than this. This is my purpose, and yeah, I'm super excited about it. What about you?
Oh, I feel pretty excited about all the opportunities that there are to dive into these things even more, and I'm excited about uh, the legalities of psychedelics as a way of sacred plant medicines to help people, but also all the other ways. Like there's just so many. I think I have the same problem that you have, is that I'm so fascinated by all these different methods of uh, going into trance and making changes in your life that sometimes I don't know where to put my focus. But I just so that means that there's lots of places that you can find these types of things. So whatever way that you're interested in, you're going to find lots of information, lots of ways to make become your best self just by following your own curiosity.
Yes, I love that. I love that.
Fabian, how can people learn more about you?
um Well, I'm a very accessible person, so they can come to everybody should jump into an airplane and come to Sydney. Just kidding me. So we are lucky. We are in the time of technology, right? So nowadays we can find each other quite easily. My name is in here on this podcast, Fabian Wesselink. If you type in Fabian Wesselink in Facebook, you will land on my pages, and you will soon find that I'm like you. I love changing states, so you will see me jumping in cold plunges, and or you see me running workshops, and I'm talking about hypno-breathwork because it's my passion.
Mm,
I also have a website which is hypnobreathwork.com.au. So there's information there, and I also offer a challenge, a 5-day hypno breathwork challenge, especially for hypnotherapists that think, oh man, I would really learn more about this stuff. And really amazing, like a free challenge where I learn you, or where we go on a journey, on a hypno breathwork journey, and I will show you the way. I will show you what breathwork did in my life, and it also can what it can mean for your life. And the cool part of it, and that's probably the best part, where people experience a journey on day 4 of the challenge, where we do a hypno breathwork session.
mm,
And in those sessions, I'm so amazed by people come out afterwards. I always say, when we talk about plant medicine, I like that when you refer to that is, if you put in the work today, right? If you really take this serious and you start breathing serious, you can have an out of body experience, or you can have an. I had people that did ayahuasca. They did my Hypno-Breathwork journey, and they came afterwards. They said it was better than my ayahuasca journey. This was crazier than my ayahuasca. So that's
Mm.
possible, you know. So and that's part of this, and obviously, yeah, that's a website, Facebook, and Instagram. I'm not so. I need to work on that, and but just I want to keep focus. Like you said, it's so easy to distract ourselves
Yeah.
and to get caught up in all these things and TikTok and all that thing. Like, call me a bit old fashioned guy, but I'm just like Facebook. And I think most hypnotherapists, or just maybe that's me generalizing, but we are more like, I think that we hang out more at Facebook at this point. Obviously, the younger generation will be more on Instagram, but yeah.
Well, I'll make sure that we get all those links collected and put into the show notes so that it's simple and easy to find.
Oh, that would be epic. That's awesome. Awesome. And
And
you should
Fabian,
you should do my 5-day challenge as well, or we do a
I'm
session
I
also.
I've got it. I plan to. I plan to. I'm
That would
really
be good.
curious to learn more. I think I'm probably doing some of it, but I'm really curious to know how you mix it together. That's the thing that really uh, intrigues me.
Yeah, cool. Cool, cool,
What's
cool.
one insight that you want the audience to leave with today, Fabian?
Um, that's you like your intuition, right? I always refer to intuition as intuition. Tuition is the school within yourself.
Mm,
You don't need to do more courses. Like, I suspect that we also have hypnotherapists listening to this or so. you know you don't need to do anything more. You don't need to do more, or you don't need to. You're already amazing at what you do. Just trust your intuition. Yeah, for me it was the same thing. Like, always, oh, I don't need more courses. It's not about more courses. Just trust yourself. Find peace within yourself. Start working on yourself with your breath. Find ways, and use the modality on yourself. That's a thing that I've noticed as well in the world of hypnotherapy. They're not using this powerful modality for themselves. So they don't trust themselves, or they don't trust the modality. But it's
mm,
all about you. It's our sole responsibility to show up as the best version of ourselves. And then you feel congruent, right? You want to feel congruent in what you do. If you feel, I think a great coach or a great therapist or change worker should have three things. It's congruency, competency, and confidence. If you have those three together, then people want to work with you. They come, man, I want to jump on your fun bus. I don't know what you're doing, but I want to have something of that, right?
yeah,
And just trust yourself, listen to the school within, and that's the thing. Like, follow your heart.
love it.
And we need more hypnotherapists. Would you agree or not, Joshua? The world is ready for us.
There's
Like, why
there's
do people
more than
keep
enough
stop
space.
hiding?
Yeah, yeah,
Right? Stop
more than enough
hiding.
space for
Get out
everyone.
there. We need all of you. It's time. We came here for a mission, for a purpose, to help and to do this work. So if you're not doing it now, ask yourself, so what, like, why did you start getting into hypnotherapy from the first place? The world needs us. Stop playing small. Get out there.
Awesome advice. Thank you so much, Fabian Wesselink, for your time today. It was really amazing.
Thank you too. Thank you so much. I loved it. I loved every second of it.
Hey there. If you feel like something holds you back from reaching your true potential, listen up. I've got something incredible to share with you. I'm offering a free 7-day email program that helps you break through those blocks to get to the unshakable confidence and success that you deserve. Imagine starting each day with a clear mind, a strong sense of purpose, and the confidence to go after whatever it is that you truly want. This program guides you through a powerful process to uncover and then eliminate the root causes of your limitations. You receive daily emails with practical steps, immersive audio exercises, and techniques that help you rewrite your personal story. As your expert coach, I am there to support you every step of the way. Now, people have used this program to remove old triggers and create a new empowering mindset, or others have used it to remove resistance to taking certain actions. You can have these same kind of results or something different. If you feel ready to break free from what holds you back, the fears, the worries, the anxieties, those old patterns, whatever they are, and you're ready to embrace a life of confidence and fulfillment, go to xfactorhypnosis.com/transform. It's completely free and you gain a more empowered you. You can use the link in the show notes or just type xfactorhypnosis.com/transform into your favorite browser. Thanks for listening. And remember, stay curious, keep growing, and embrace your transformation.